So I'm going to go ahead to my sewing machine and lock up this area, then free the remaining. Today we are going to be dealing with how to make our fringes, and we first have to familiarize ourselves with the Aso-Oke material very well. So this is our Aso-Oke material. I brought out a couple of samples, as you can see. So you can see we normally use this for making numerous outfits for our trousers, for our cap. Preferably I would select this. I think this should come out better in the presentation. So now this is the sample we're using, and if you observe, normally this is the selvage, that is the locked part on the Aso-Oke. This part around here, that's the locked part. So to prevent the threads from fraying, you get. So and normally, even dealing with our fabrics, the lengthwise around that selvage, the threading on the lengthwise is what we call the warp. WARP, that's warp. Then across the ground lane, the cross grain, that's your weft. It is this warp and weft that actually help to lock up those threads to create this Aso-Oke fabric. So and on bias, this is the cross grain line, which you call the true bias, or the true bias is about 45 degrees. We deal with that mostly when working with our normal fabrics like cashmere and other types of fabric. So but we need to focus on this warp and weft. So like I said, the warp is the one parallel to the selvage, and the weft is the one across. So basically, to create those fringes, what we need to work on is the weft, that is the cross grain, this line across the selvage. All you need to note is where the selvage is, and we'll be dealing with the cross grain. You can see it's already fraying. So this is what we need to create our fringes. And how does this work? So watch what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to be picking out the weft. So but from what we can see, you can see it is still being held onto across this side, and this is where it becomes very, very important. You can see it comes out like that, but it's still being held onto on the edge. So the reason for that is because of this locked part of the selvage. You can see you have the thread going back in, looping around that area. So there's a lock mechanism here to prevent it from fraying. So that is what we need to disengage. So we do that too on the second side. Depending on the length of your fringe. So you can see it pulls out like that. So let's try to free it again. You can see it pulls out easily. So you can see it pulls out easily. Like that, it pulls out easily. So you just need to determine the length of your fringe, then lock it so that it will not continue to fray continually. So I'm going to pick a dimension for the length of my fringe. So let's say we're working with a fringe of about length 5 inches. Let's just do 4 inches. This 4 inches. So about this line. So I'm going to go ahead to my sewing machine and lock up this area, then fray the remaining. Yeah, basically I drawn my stitch, that's a double threading, so that I can lock up that line perfectly to prevent it from fraying beyond that line. So as you can see, I've gone ahead to run my stitch. I hope you can see the stitch clearly. So I just run that straight stitch twice to kind of lock it in place. So after doing this, then I'll go ahead to free up until it gets to this point. So it should become easier to pull out now, like that. You see, just pulling it out like that. So it's easier to pull out. So free as much as you want. So I've gone ahead to fray it. Don't forget we use the white thread to lock it because of the illustration purpose. So basically if I had used this same color of gray, it's going to blend. You understand? So see the quantity of the the width of the Aso-Oke that I've actually picked out. So this is what the finished result looks like. I hope you can see. You can use this for your baggy palazzo Aso-Oke trousers. You can use it for the pockets, for the cargo pockets, you understand, or for the hem of the trouser. Likewise for your bubu, Aso-Oke, or any style that you can come up with using this. So you can see how beautiful it looks. You know, yeah. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. So I remain Everyman from Enigmatic Concept. Thank you very much. God bless you. Thanks for watching.